So,
all right, let's see more meat then.
yeah, let's see some meat.
Fatality.
Hey there, welcome to round 20. We have made it to round 20 here on Wake Up 3. We are your hosts, Molly
And Cam. And this is a fighting game podcast from a couple who loves fighting games. And today we have...
more spooky material.
That is right. We are leading right into Halloween here. We decided to just take a couple of weeks and just not directly Halloween related, but just do some things that are a little spookier. So this episode is going to be a little bit different, but we'll get into what it is after our mix-up.
Which Cam has this week because I did it last week.
That is right. And I actually kept it relatively simple. I just had kind of a, would you rather? Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf? So you have you have to stay in during the day if you're a vampire. You turn into a werewolf and lose control, I guess, once a month if you're a werewolf.
I guess I would say a vampire.
Okay, cool.
What would you rather be?
Probably a vampire as well, because at least you don't lose control of your mind for one day a month.
Yeah.
Because that would be pretty scary to just lose control and wake up naked in the forest.
Right.
Oh God, what did I do? I ate a tree. Why did I do that? My next one is, would you rather be a mummy or a zombie?
Oh, a mummy for sure.
A mummy for sure. Wow, okay. Why is that?
I just think mummies are cool.
I mean, you're not wrong. They are pretty cool.
I don't know. There's just something more interesting to me about a mummy than a zombie. I like that better.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's underdone. We need more mummies.
We do. I remember having a dream, before MK1 was ever announced, that I was seeing some kind of MK12 footage. And I was playing as a guest. So it was, I guess it would have been well into the lifespan of the game. And its name was Mummy. And it had such weird erratic movement where the legs were stiff. And it was very quick.
Oh, okay.
And it was spooky. It was actually scary because it was holy shit, this guy's fast. You wouldn't think he would be that fast, but he was stiff and jerky, and he would rush towards you. And then I just remember hearing it was an MKX style announcer at the end just saying, "Mummy wins." So that's it. I guess that's kind of weird. A dream from a year ago. Anyways.
Dream? Prophecy? We'll see.
I hope it's a prophecy. That'd be sweet. Would you rather be a vampire or a mummy?
Oh, okay.
So just combine the two winners.
I feel like at this point it's coming down to the smell.
The smell?
Yeah, because would a mummy smell very, very, very bad? Or would a vampire smell just as bad? And would I have a sense of smell as either one?
That was my thought.
As a vampire, would I just only smell blood? Or the absence of blood?
You would smell blood, and you would smell garlic. Things that are stinky would be really stinky.
Ooh. I feel like I still want to say mummy. Are you surprised?
I'm a little bit surprised. Yeah, honestly, I thought you would
you
go with a vampire just because you'd be able to have a castle and sleep all day, all day in it, and avoid people, and then only go out at night. Prey on blood, just drain things. Just go around being in an urban legend, training
that
cattle.
Does sound really nice, but I just feel like, maybe over time it would get old. I don't really know what you're going to get into, per se, I feel like, with a mummy. Do you have a setup for what goes on when you're a mummy?
I think as a mummy, I would just want to protect what was nearby my shit. So, you get buried with, a bunch of jewels.
Oh, so
and
you
gems.
just hang out in your tomb? I was asking more, what would a horror-style mummy do?
Oh, shit. Probably, shoot you with its
bones?
wrappings and, grab you with them and, pull you near it. Probably, try to absorb your soul and, drain you of all life. And then,
is this the Ermac mummy skin influencing you?
No, okay. I'm, thinking, I'm thinking of the Brendan Fraser mummy where it would just take all the life out of you and you would turn into a husk.
Would you become sand sometimes too?
Probably.
Could you travel by sand?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. Now I'm
This is
picturing,
this is
now I'm picturing like a Halloween Garrus skin. But anyways,
this is becoming. Yeah, sorry. The mummy is actually sounding way tighter now. So I'm definitely choosing mummy. So, mummies, hell yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about our weekend fighting games before we jump into the main content. We played a lot of MK as usual. I feel like we were just constantly alternating between who was playing. Like we had it on. I think we pretty much had it on all weekend long.
That's right. We did play a lot.
We played a lot. We played a whole lot. And then on Saturday, I entered another online tournament. I entered Stacy's For the Win Fight Out, Week 3. My first matchup was against Sunio. So I actually lost 3-0. I got wrecked by his Liu Kang. And I can't remember who his cameo was. I did a lot better towards like the end of that third match. But man, he's so good. I just couldn't hang. I have not seen a Liu Kang that good before.
Right.
So I entered, and I mean, I lost first round because I fought a really, really, really good player.
Yeah. I don't know. We're just trying to climb the ranks in Combat League while the season's going.
Yeah.
See how far we can get for our first season.
We're trying to branch out and get a lot better. So
For sure.
Anyways.
And we do still fight each other.
Yeah, like all the time.
We'll spar as just our quote unquote mains, because I hesitate to say mains this early on. So we do Baraka Melina sets and we do first to fives.
Yeah. They go both ways.
Sometimes they're grueling. But yeah, I think that covers our weekend fighting games.
Yeah, that said, I think we can just jump right into the rest of our episode.
All right, let's get spooky. We have a unique theme this week where we're going head to head with spooky teams that we have each created independently of each other. We
chose 3 characters each, 3 fighting game characters that are kind of in the horror vibe or spooky vibe.
In theme with the spooky month characters.
Spooky characters.
And see who has the more powerful team.
Yeah.
And see if we get any mirror matches, which in that case, we each have a pocket character. You have 2, I've heard.
Just in case. So for our 3-on-3, we'll alternate.
Okay.
And my first character is Yukai Kusarigado. He's a Yukai demon, which is like a Chinese demon who has this insatiable hunger and continues to consume, and no matter what it eats, it can't satiate that hunger, basically.
Okay.
So it has this like giant overgrown belly. It's a massive, huge, like hulking demon.
Okay.
So it's gigantic. It's like, think Abigail from Street Fighter 5, where it takes up like almost half the screen.
Oh, it's that big?
It's that big, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's kind of fucked up looking. It has this long tongue. The dude's like bright red. This long dangling hair hanging down off the sides of its head, but it's bald on top. Like really long limbs, but it squats. You know what I mean? Like it like has this weird crouch. And then one of its hands, its right hand, is actually missing, and there's a giant bone like protruding from it at all times. And that's actually one of its abilities. This dude's ability is to grow and reshape his bones however he sees fit.
Okay.
And he uses those for like stabbing and shit and slashing.
Oh.
It takes up like very large chunks of the screen. Of course, you can block that, and if he whiffs, he's really vulnerable. That's kind of the trade-off. He's huge. He has huge hitboxes, but he's slow. He's very slow.
And what's he from?
He's from Samurai Shodown 5 and 6. Those are his only 2 appearances. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's 15 feet tall. He's 600 pounds.
It just sounds ridiculous.
I know. Yeah. And I'm going to show you a picture of him. And I feel like you guys should look him up too, because he's fucked up.
He'll probably be on the thumbnail if you're watching on YouTube. Oh, yeah, he'll be on the thumbnail.
His spinal cord, his like spinal bones are jutting out of his back. He has this move where he can like flex and shoot them out of him.
He looks very goofy.
He kind of does, but he's like also kind of terrifying, because not only does he have this insatiable hunger, his is for flesh in particular. So he is a cannibal.
Oh, wow.
And that is why he was cursed with this form, because he used to be a human with a daughter. He was just this average guy. And then someday, like, a curse fell upon him, and he developed this hunger for flesh. And he started eating corpses. And once he died, he was punished for that in the afterlife by being turned into this, like, all-consuming giant Oni, basically.
I wish there was like a movie about this guy.
Doesn't he look
just based on that? That sounds like
doesn't he
really
look
cool.
fucked up?
Yeah.
He was once a normal dude that just cared for his daughter and stuff, and then eventually turned into a cannibal, died, became a demon, and that made him so he was even hungrier. It just made it so he just continued to roam the land, eat people, cause fear and chaos and destruction everywhere he went. And yeah. His weapon is his exposed bone that juts out of his arm. Okay. But not only that, he also can shoot his own head off at you, where it like hits the person and then flies back towards it, like, and then lands back on him. Okay. It's kind of like MK11 Frost, actually. Vomit that causes paralysis, so you'll just freeze in place. He does it and it's like straight down, so it's like if you're basically under his head, because he's big. Okay, wow. He can summon demons that will grab at you from under the ground and hold you in place. Scorpion. Yeah, kind of like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for his powers. If he whiffs, he's a very easy target. That's his main weakness. So yeah, that's what I got for Yukai Kusari Gedo. Okay, cool. Oh, also, when he became a demon, his daughter tried to sympathize with him. Oh. And even though he recognized her, he couldn't overcome the hunger and he ate her.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I could watch a movie about this guy. Like, just this guy, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
dude, you've
cool
never heard of
choice.
before?
I like it.
Okay, cool. That was the guy that I thought of instantly, and I was like, I'm using this guy.
That's fun. Cool.
Yeah. So.
I'm going to start off with one of my picks this is not the first one I wrote down. I'll just say that. Okay. But the first character that I'm going to share for our creepy, spooky teams is Shinnok.
Oh, okay, cool.
First appearance is actually Mortal Kombat Mythology's Sub-Zero. Mm-hmm. But he was first playable in Mortal Kombat 4. I'm just going to share some of his aliases because I think they're really fun depending on the character that refers to Shinnok. So
okay.
I don't know if you want me to like say the alias and you can guess what character is calling Shinnok this.
Yeah, let's do that.
Big Hat.
Big Hat?
Yeah. Bet you didn't see that one coming.
Not at all. Shao Kahn?
Ferritor.
What the fuck? Okay, weird. Cool.
Keeper of the Dead.
Keeper of the Dead. Ermac?
Reptile.
Oh.
Bane of all existence.
Scorpion?
Kotal Khan.
Damn.
Tormentor of souls.
Ermac.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Soul Boy. He has to talk about it.
Right. And then the last one, the Dark Lord. Who's calling Shinnok that?
The Dark Lord. Quan Chi.
Goro.
Okay.
And then I just want to share one quote that I really like from Shinnok. This is from MKX. Miserable wretch. Insignificant speck of feculent scum. How dare you?
Oh my gosh.
He says that to Johnny Cage after he stops him from imprisoning Raiden and Fujin in the amulet. Fair enough.
That's so funny.
So we all know from MK11 that Shinnok is the son of the Titan Kronika and the brother and the direct counterpart of Elder God Cetrion. So Shinnok is also an Elder God, but he is the Elder God of Death while Cetrion is the Elder God of Life. And he is also forever worshipped by an ancient and fanatic cult of demons and evil conjurers known as the Brotherhood of Shadow. Shinnok being a former Elder God, he has immense power. They mainly revolve around darkness and the Netherrealm because he was banished to the Netherrealm. He summons skeletal hands from the ground. He's got his bone hand variation in MKX, so we like to call it.
I love that one.
He can flick you with the big skeleton hands.
Grab you with them and
squish ya.
Yeah.
He can also take on a larger demonic form, as shown in the final level of Mortal Kombat Mythology, Sub-Zero, when his precious amulet became stolen from him, and in his anger, he transforms into a gigantic, unholy monster.
Sounds like corrupted Shinnok.
Exactly, right?
I thought you were going to say MKX.
Right? It sounds... They kept that going for
That's
sure.
sweet.
I also wanted to note this just because I think it's fun. His magic also includes the ability to create demons and wraiths to do his bidding, as well as creating clones and illusions of others and himself. So he's almost kind of Shang Tsung-like. In MKX, when absorbing Earthrealm's life force, he turns into a demonic creature with immense power and the ability to manipulate fire, as well as conjuring objects such as bladed totems and telekinesis. So this is like the MKX corrupted Shinnok.
Yeah, okay.
There was one more thing I wanted to say about Shinnok, but I have to find it.
Oh.
But it was really funny because it's about Raiden.
Must consult with the Elder Gods, but not that Elder God.
Not that one. He's been banished to the Netherrealm. This is about the end of MKX in the story mode. So, in his final moments, he found solace in the fact that Raiden became as ruthless as he did in his corrupted form and mocked him for it.
Jesus.
And then, of course, yeah, we know that Raiden becomes Dark Raiden,
Yeah.
and he beheads Shinnok, and then, yeah, it's...
Like, keeps him to torture him in a little chamber. Yeah, Raiden gets messed up. He goes real dark.
Ironically, the god of death suffers a fate worse than death.
Ironic.
Yeah. But that's my first contribution.
Okay.
Shinnok.
I think it's a good contribution.
Thanks.
Not one on my list.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
My second character that I'm going to go with is Sabrewulf of Killer Instinct.
Ooh, okay, can I just say I almost picked Sabrewulf.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Almost. I went looking for Sabrewulf and decided against it.
Okay.
So
did you already look everything into Sabrewulf?
No, I did not.
Okay, cool,
Nope,
cool.
Nope.
He was a lot more interesting than I expected, honestly.
Oh, I bet.
I didn't think much about Sabrewulf going in. He was honestly probably one of the 3 characters or so from Killer Instinct that I didn't really click with as a kid, because there's a lot of them that they were just instantly like, yeah, I love this one, I love this one, I love this one. Anyways, we'll get into that game later because I want to talk about that game for an entire month at some point. I love it. For now, let's talk about Sabrewulf a little bit. This dude is pretty tight. He is from an aristocratic family, so he is very wealthy. It didn't say exactly where, it just said East Europe. He's pretty much into partying and drinking, and he was doing opioids and shit for a while because he didn't have to work and he had no responsibilities.
I'm shocked.
Right? I just thought some of this was really interesting. I had to throw that in there. So he never had any responsibilities throughout his life. His family took care of all of that. He just had money and wealth and women and drinks and drugs, all of it. That's what he did. That was his vibe. And I want to say this dude's name here because before he was known as Sabrewulf, his name was Baron Conrad von Sabrewulf.
Oh my god. I love that.
Baron Conrad von Sabrewulf.
I think we have the title of the episode.
So he's in all 3 Killer Instinct games. At some point his parents die. He inherits his family's castle. And at this point he finds out that his family has been monster hunters for years and years, or for generations actually. And they were actually responsible for wiping out all of the werewolves in Europe.
What? This is so crazy.
Yeah.
I love it.
He had no idea about any of that. They were all secretly monster hunters and shit. So he didn't know any of that stuff. And then he finds a secret room in the basement. He sees different mounts on the wall of monsters and shit, and different experimental equipment and paperwork and all kinds of things he doesn't really understand. So he kind of just gets away from that, whatever. Leave that alone. I don't really understand it. It's weird that my family didn't tell me they were monster hunters, but I guess I was a drunk, so I get it. He didn't say that. I'm putting that in his mouth. I just thought it sounded good. But one night, while he's drunkenly stumbling around his archives in the basement, he accidentally cuts himself on this giant paw that's mounted on the wall. And it turns out that this paw is that of a giant werewolf, and it still has its power dormant within it to turn people into werewolves. He doesn't find this out until later in the month when he turns into a werewolf on the full moon and destroys his own castle and kills some of his servants.
Oh my god!
And all of this
is why I didn't want to be a werewolf.
All of
round
this,
one.
all of the stuff he destroys is like a lot of it is in his basement, and he destroys a lot of the equipment down there.
Oh.
And some of that included like cures to lycanthropy, so he would have been able to cure himself, and he
tragic.
just didn't know that he had it at the time because he didn't know it was a werewolf claw with dormant powers or whatever. So kind of a little tragic backstory. He just wants to become a human again, but he wants to hold on to that humanity. He doesn't want that werewolf within him. He gets spotted at some point for being a werewolf by this company called Ultratech, who decides,
damn Ultratech.
they got their hands in everything. They basically tell him, if you fight in this tournament for us, so we can kind of monitor what you can do, we will look for a cure and help you cure your condition so you can go back to living as a normal person. He's like, okay, cool, sounds good. He goes in the fight, and in the first game, he doesn't really do well because his heart's not in it. The company goes back on their word. Ultratech takes him in because they never had any plans on helping him. And they basically say, like, if you're not going to do this the way we wanted you to, we're going to rip off your arms and we're going to give you cybernetic arms with extended claws. And yeah, now you're just a wolf all the time because we've extended your transformations, so there's like no humanity left, and you kind of have that fractured human mind in there left, but you are just a wolf all the time.
Wow.
So that's what he is kind of going forward from there. A werewolf with cybernetic arms. He's got like slashes and pounces and bites.
Yeah, and he sounds really sad when he gets hit. So
He
don't
does. He
hurt
sounds like a
Sabrewulf,
dog.
guys.
It sounds so sad.
I love Sabrewulf. I feel like when I first played Killer Instinct, I didn't care about him as much, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But now I really care about Sabrewulf.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
right?
passionate about him.
Like, damn. I didn't know he was a party guy that accidentally got turned into a werewolf
Whoops.
because of a family secret.
It's pretty crazy. I like it a lot.
Yeah. And then his weaknesses is that he wants to be a regular human again, so he doesn't really fight,
That automatically makes you weaker, yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Why would you want to be a human?
And then probably Silver because he's a werewolf, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to say that in the first game he wears just a shirt, and then in his second appearance he wears just pants and no shirt. So swapped. That's all I got for Sabrewulf.
All right, cool. I like it.
Cool. What do you have for number 2?
All right, my number 2 pick is Nightmare Geese.
Okay, cool.
A little bit about Nightmare Geese. Obviously, we're talking about Geese Howard. I don't think we've talked about him like at all yet on the podcast. Maybe we've mentioned his name once or twice.
Yeah.
But we are huge fans of this character in this house.
That's right.
And even bigger fans, maybe I can't speak for Cam, but even bigger fan of Nightmare Geese.
I mean, yeah, he's super fucking cool. Anytime I play King of Fighters 2002, that's my number 1 choice, for sure.
So, a little bit about Nightmare Geese. His first appearance was in Real Bout Fatal Fury Special as a secret boss. And his first playable appearance was King of Fighters Maximum Impact 2, unlockable character. So he is the ghostly manifestation of Geese in the games where he is canonically considered dead. So initial appearances looked just like Geese, with only a ghostly ring surrounding where he stands.
Okay.
And
like a
then,
little glow or something.
Yeah. And then King of Fighters 14 is his first appearance where he appears fully nightmarish. So this is as a DLC skin.
I love that one.
And yeah, it's like full out because he has like gray-black skin, glowing eyes, elongated fingers and fingernails, like gray-white hair, and his clothes are torn. Yeah. And he also has an eerie, distorted voice, which is like the best part, arguably,
it's really
I
cool.
would say.
It sounds like it's like 2 voices at once coming out.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
It's really cool.
So his powers, like Geese is already extremely, like he has a lot of powers and he's strong.
Right.
But as Nightmare Geese, he's even more powerful. So he becomes faster, stronger, and maintains the energy aura around his feet from his first appearances.
That's cool.
Some fun facts about Nightmare Geese. The Fatal Fury series did not give this version of Geese any character renaming. So Nightmare Geese was originally a name coined by fans.
Okay. That's interesting, yeah.
Since the word nightmare appears instead of round 1 in Real About Fatal Fury Special before fighting Geese.
That's cool. I didn't know
or
that.
like Nightmare Geese, I mean.
Yeah, because he's a boss, right?
Yeah, he's the secret boss. Like, that's his very first appearance.
That's cool.
And
That'd
then
be crazy to see, like, for it not knowing what was going to happen.
I thought that was really cool. And then SNK then canonized it in King of Fighters Maximum Impact 2.
Cool. That's sweet. I like that.
Yeah. So, Nightmare Geese,
He's
been around for a bit.
Yeah.
And he's evolved a bit, which I think is super cool.
That is really cool when, like, something that's kind of just a fan naming of it just becomes reality eventually.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I don't know, it's canonized by fans. And it's not like it was, I guess it was just an unnamed difference at the time, but it's still really cool that they just went with the fan naming.
Yeah, I agree. I liked that piece of trivia in particular about
yeah.
Nightmare Geese.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, Geese Howard is already a pretty intimidating person.
Right.
Yeah, Nightmare Geese is just a more terrifying version of him. And his voice is sick. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Anytime we go back and play 14, King of Fighters 14, I feel like that's the skin I gotta choose. And I gotta pick him
absolutely.
like a few times at least.
Love it.
He's so cool.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is actually my first Mortal Kombat character, and my only, I guess, that I've gone with. It is Meat.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure who you were going to pick from MK.
Okay. Yeah, I went with Meat.
Interesting.
Because he seems goofy at first, but he's actually kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I would say.
I think he fits more along like the creep category. I don't know. His first appearance was as a secret character in MK4, and he didn't really have anything unique about him at that point. He was actually just something that he was a skin that any character could be under certain conditions. So you could just play like Sub-Zero and you would look like a skeleton Meat version of him. So that was just like something that was like a secret thing. His first real character appearance, and his only one to date, is Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And here it's revealed that Meat was an experiment from Shang Tsung, who escaped before he was done being experimented on. And he's kind of just this fleshless, bloody, meaty, skeletal man. And he's kind of chaotic. He doesn't really have a goal, I guess. He's just escaped. He's kind of crazy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if crazy is the right word, but
you probably would be a little unhinged if you were just skinless running around.
Yeah, and like one of your eyes is hanging out at all times, and
yeah,
you were experimented on for who knows what the experiments were for, but they weren't finished. And yeah, so he escapes Shang Tsung's flesh pits before the experiments are concluded. Which is probably good because Shang usually just kills and disposes of his victims anyways, so good that he escaped, I guess. Meat is immune to pain, and he fights with just 4 special moves. He's got plenty of other moves, and he also uses meat cleavers as a weapon at times.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of fun.
That is fun.
Because all of the characters in that game, in Armageddon, have a weapon stance. His are meat cleavers, which I think is unique to him, actually.
It should be, yeah.
It's pretty cool. I like it. It's kind of on the nose, but I think it works. His moves are head roll, where he pulls his head off and rolls it across the ground towards the opponent, kind of like he's bowling.
That's like the second character on your list that has a head.
Yeah, like a detachable head move. I know, I noticed that when I was choosing him.
I like your team.
Okay.
Like, I feel like it has a good theme.
Like, they're kind of freaks, for the most part. I mean, Sabrewulf's not a freak,
but I feel like the other two complement each other very well.
I think so. Thanks. Anyways. His second move is Bloody Slide, where he does a quick like Sub-Zero or a Reptile style slide across the ground towards the opponent, but he does it on the blood that's dripping off of him at all times.
Okay.
He's also got a body mutilation move, where that's what it's called.
Okay.
He grabs the eye that's hanging out of his head and tugs on it, and then it'll snap back into place, and that gives him health back.
Oh my god, no.
It's like the grossest thing. And I'm sorry that I had to...
visibly shuddered when
she retched. Yeah, that gives him health back.
Don't tell me that.
Don't
tell me that.
You're going to have to listen back on this when you edit later. It's going to make you vomit. And then he has a move called Flash Teleport.
Of course he does.
Yeah. He falls forward and explodes into a puddle of blood, and then he reforms behind the opponent.
Wow.
Yeah, so he falls down in front. He just falls forward and explodes on the ground into blood and meat, I guess, and then just reforms behind you. It sounds like a even more terrifying version of like the T-1000. Anyways, yeah, that's meat. That's what he's got. For weaknesses, I didn't write anything because I don't know what he's
immune to pain.
He's my my final character because I think he's, even though I already talked about a pretty fucked up dude for my first one, I kind of think meat might take the cake.
I think so. Definitely as far as his moveset.
Yeah, his stuff's wild. So.
All right, let's see more meat then.
Yeah, let's see some meat.
I'm going to give you my final character on my team, who I'm most excited to share because I didn't know this character existed until I looked into things.
Okay.
Because this is a game that we have not played, but we like the original game.
Okay.
When I said that I almost picked Sabrewulf,
yeah,
I found another character who I thought was really cool, and it's Hisako.
that was who I was gonna guess. That was a character I almost chose, even though I haven't played as her either. Because yeah, we haven't played the newest Killer Instinct 2013. Don't have an Xbox.
Mm-hmm. So yes, Hisako is from Killer Instinct 2013 version. She debuted in March of 2015 in the Season 2 Ultra Edition.
Okay, cool.
So a little bit about Hisako, because, you know, all I've said so far is her name.
Yeah, I'm already hyped.
Yeah, Hisako, meaning eternal child, is the vengeful spirit of a 19-year-old girl named in life as Chiharu, which means 1,000 springs. Her small village was attacked over 450 years ago in the Sengoku era. Her father, a former samurai, was killed along with her family. She fought back and killed many, but did not ultimately survive the attack. The village, however, did survive. Inspired by Chiharu's heroic act, they stood their ground and later erected a shrine in her honor. Her spirit returns to seek revenge, never forgiving her attackers, and awakened by those who disturb and rob the graves of her village hundreds of years later. Her ghostly form wields her father's naginata, adorned with a red ribbon at the blade, which also belonged to him. She looks really creepy. Like, she's got the gray, like, she looks like she just dug herself out of the grave. She's got, like, muddy feet.
Yeah.
And, torn clothes. And she can also open her mouth inhumanly large, and she has, like, rows of sharp teeth.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
So
she kind of looks like the girl that crawls out of the TV in The Ring a little bit.
Yeah, there's actually reference to that. So the character of Hisako is based on and a tribute to the Japanese folklore legend of the Onryo, which is like a monstrous, think of The Ring. It's a concept that was popularized during the late 1990s and early 2000s due to the success of those Japanese horror movies.
Right.
So a bit about her fighting style. She fights with the naginata that was taken from her father. And as
cool.
a vengeful ghost, she has supernatural abilities. So like the ability to teleport by crawling from one spot to another.
Okay.
The ability to possess her opponents and contort their bodies in a disturbing fashion. She can also, as I mentioned, hideously open her razor-sharp teeth to suck in her opponents towards her so she can attack them.
That's
so
sweet.
I feel like her gameplay sounds very appealing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds sweet.
And then because of her extremely slow walk speed, which this makes sense, and I feel like that's perfect, Hisako can be overall described as a patient and defensive fighter, waiting for the right moment for her enemies to slip up so she can punish them with furious blade strikes and slashes.
Sweet. That sounds really cool. A combination of like ghost demonic moves and also a sword.
Yeah.
That's
and
sweet.
I actually watched her
that.
I watched her trailer and it was super cool.
I think she looks really cool.
She looks actually scary.
Yeah.
And I think that's really neat to see
in
a fighting game. I like it. So yeah, that's my third contribution. I'm glad we didn't have any overlaps.
Me too.
But I'm
me
kind of
too.
curious to know who your pockets were.
Yeah, like I said, I had 2 pockets. Mine were actually... I had 2 pockets. I had 2 pocket characters. One was Devora,
Oh,
because she's a creepy bug lady with multiple, like, pincer things coming off of her back, and she can puke out bugs and spit them out of her stomach and control them and make them explode and make them form inside you and make you turn into a giant spider. And she's pretty creepy and gross, especially if you are not a bug person.
That's true.
So I know that she makes some people pretty uncomfortable, especially in the crypt when you see her little spider babies crawling towards you. Yeah, that was one of them. And then my second one was Spinal, actually, from Killer Instinct.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, because he's a living skeleton and he just like laughs and uses a flaming sword and a flaming shield, and he's awesome. I love him. What about yours?
Well, I just have one pocket character, and I told you before we recorded that I was very confident that my pocket character was someone you would not have chosen.
Okay.
So this is someone from Tekken.
Okay.
It was Elisa. So I chose Elisa as a potential for my spooky team because she's a vampire girl, and I think my favorite thing that I learned about her was that she came to be part of the Tekken series via a poll. So that was how she came to be included in Tekken Revolution. And then her first canon appearance was Tekken 7 DLC. So I just think it's wild that she came to be from a poll. Pretty fun. She's a vampire girl who has like a very similar hairstyle to Lily, and she has connections to Lily's family. One thing about her that... Oh, did I say that she's a vampire who suffers from narcolepsy, so she'll just like fall asleep mid-sentence or
that's funny.
fall asleep at random, so like during her moves and stuff.
That's really funny. I didn't know she had narcolepsy. I knew she slept during the fight and stuff, but I just thought, that's just her thing, I guess. Vampires sleep during the day.
Another thing about her is that she is noted to be 1,000 years old and 4 months.
Okay. Cool.
So that's my fun Elisa fact.
I like that.
I'm not going to get too much into her aside from that she came to be from a poll, which I think that's a fun fact.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm really glad that our stuff didn't overlap either.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny because I did actually consider Hisako, and then I decided to just go with Sabrewulf, especially once I saw the cybernetic arms. Yeah, we really didn't have any overlap. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and
Talked about a lot of different games.
I feel like our picks were a little out there.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe not what you would immediately think.
Yeah,
on some of them
so.
at least.
Yeah,
I think all of yours were good.
They're pretty unconventional.
I like your team.
Thanks.
I think your team is good.
I think I've got a good team.
Yeah. So this might just be the first installment that you'll hear of this type of episode from us.
Right.
Maybe we'll do another installment next Halloween or next October.
That'd be fun, yeah. That'd be cool.
Make this a yearly thing. But this is, there are a lot of spooky characters, and I'm sure there will be more.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we didn't even decide who the winner would be for our teams.
I keep praising your team, so I feel like I'm slating you to be the winner.
Ooh.
But what do you think about my team?
Well, let's go through our teams again real quick. I've got Yukai Kusari Gedo, Sabrewulf, and Meat.
Okay. And then I've got Shinnok, Nightmare Geese, and Hisako.
I mean, those are still sweet characters. I feel like... Man, I don't know. How do you pick this?
It's hard. Let's let you guys decide if you made it this far.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know which team you think is superior, because we can't really decide. I feel like both of them are pretty good. Yeah. Hope you guys had fun with this.
Who do you think would win in those teams? The King of Fighters style
3v3.
Yep, 3v3. Who's gonna win? I don't know. I think they're both good teams. But I think really so. Like your team.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I had fun with this. I hope you guys had fun listening to it.
You can definitely expect a little bit more spooky content to come your way because the month goes on.
Yeah, we've got
what, one more?
Yeah, we've got one more episode of spooky content coming at you next week.
Yep.
So, not going to tell you what it is just yet.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be fun.
Thanks for joining us and sharing us with your friends. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, thanks for sticking along with us. We hope you continue to do that. We're just happy to do this. We think it's really fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you've got anything you'd like to say to us, you can send us an email at wakeupthreepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Wake Up 3. You can follow along on Twitter at Wakeupthreefgc or on YouTube and Spotify at Wakeup3. I'm your host Cam, and you can find me at Big Ruck Online on all social media.
And I'm your host Molly, and you can find me on Twitter at Concut, that's KAHNKUT, or on PlayStation, that's Jan Michaels.
This is Wake Up 3 signing off.
Bye. We can't. We did 4 in a row that mirror match. So I think.
Oh my God.
I think we should just.
Let's just move on. I'm just gonna go first. That was terrible.